Hello, hello. Welcome to another beautiful rural Pennsylvania day. A little cloudy today, but rain this morning, but it's looking better. Um, so I'm doing bunches of overtime this week, so we'll see what the schedule's like. So normally I'm going into work Sunday. Now I'm going into work Friday, and I'll be there 24/7 straight through till Wednesday. So we'll see what kind of videos I could do or anything like that. But thanks for being with me here today. So I wanted to talk about one of the things you hear that Joe Biden came out and said, and that's being kind of bandied about by left-wing people, and that's the idea that Trump could suspend, thank you, Michael, that Trump could suspend the elections. Now, let me first say that I'm against that. I think the election should go off at the date that they're supposed to. I also am against all of this increased mail-in access that the Democrats are pushing. It's clearly an excuse for voter fraud. This is one of the reasons that people should have been critical from the get-go. What did I say? When we allow the government to take away our rights, when we give them a blank check and let them spend trillions of dollars, all in the name of, my God, we'll all be dead from this virus if we don't, then people will exploit that, both on the right and the left. You'll see things like the Green New Deal being pushed, which it is. You'll see things like voter fraud being pushed, which it is. You'll see things like the globalist agenda being pushed, which it is. They already collapsed the economy in an efforts of screwing over middle America and hardworking people. So why wouldn't they try to take your vote away even more than they already could? But I still think that Trump should have the elections in November. I think that we should have them. But the fact that you hear Biden and the Democrats kind of pushing this, doesn't this show you something deeper in what they're doing? And this is what I haven't heard anyone talk about. For example, a week and a half ago, you had the governor, Democratic Governor Murphy of New Jersey on Tucker Carlson's program. And Tucker asked him, why are you sending police out to arrest people going to church, which is their First Amendment right to do so, yet liquor stores are open? And he says, you can still worship, but you have to change the way you worship. No. The First Amendment was specifically designed to not allow that sort of thing from happening. And when pressed on it, he said, well, hey, I wasn't thinking of the Bill of Rights. This was above and beyond that. I'm going to lose you in a second here for coming up here at the tire store. But he said, we have to give away the First Amendment rights. Why is it the First Amendment right, by the way? Your right to free speech, your right to assemble, your right to petition the government for grievances, your right to worship as you choose. Well, because the Founding Fathers saw that as the most important right in the Bill of Rights. That's why it was number one. The Second Amendment is your right to defend yourself, to protect largely that First Amendment right. That's why it's so important to protect free speech, freedom of religion, things like that. And we shouldn't flippantly give them away. Yet here's the governor of New Jersey saying, that's above my pay grade. That was the words he used. Above his pay grade. That's exactly what his pay grade and then his state constitution as well. But obviously that federal constitution supersedes his state level one. I'm sure the state level constitution of New Jersey doesn't say that they have the right to violate freedom of religion either. Nonetheless, all of these First Amendment rights being taken away by governors, being celebrated or at least given cover by Trump. You just saw Trump the other day say, he's against Georgia opening up. He was for Gavin Newsom and Cuomo and their lockdowns. So anyways, all of this, and people are willing to accept it. They say, it's for our safety. So why is it that all of a sudden elections, that's different for the left? That's different for Joe Biden. That's different for Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. They can tell you can't go to church. You can't protest the governor of Michigan. You can't protest the governor of Pennsylvania. All that's dangerous and shouldn't be allowed. And even though that's your First Amendment right, hey, we have to give away rights. The Constitution's just a piece of paper. Sometimes we have to give away those rights. And if it's in the name of safety, then so be it. But all of a sudden, when it comes to the issue of elections, and then possibly winning back the presidency or the Senate, all of a sudden now, no, that's a bridge too far. If you're a Democrat and you're listening to this right now, which I hope you are, probably not though, there's only 8 people listening, but that's okay. As upset as you are, Trump could theoretically say, because of this virus, we can't safely have the election, as furious as that makes you, that's how furious people like me are that we can't go to work, that we can't go to church in some areas, that we can't freely assemble, that we can't petition the government for grievances. That's how angry we are. Why is it that the election's somehow special? So we have to give up all the other rights. The Bill of Rights of the Constitution doesn't mean squat when it comes to the Democrats saying, oh, well, the virus means that we have to suspend all that. Despite the fact that they fear-mongered with the numbers, despite the fact that we're seeing that the mortality rate's far lower than what they were telling us, despite all of that, they say, hey, we still have to suspend your rights under the Bill of Rights. We still have to. But elections, oh, that's tyranny. Can someone explain that to me? Why is Joe Biden so freaked out about suspending elections? Wouldn't it be nice if Joe Biden and the Democrats were half as concerned about suspending our right to free speech, suspending our right to free assembly, suspending our right to practice religion, to petition the governor for grievances, to take away our Second Amendment rights, which we've seen all over the place in other areas? Why is it just this? Isn't that odd? It's almost like they're only concerned about them getting power. That's the only right that they're, oh my God! I say this as someone who says we should not suspend the elections. I would be against it if that's what Trump does. But I'm just saying, isn't it funny that that's where all their fear-mongering goes? Now this further shows they don't give a crap about you. They don't care about normal Americans. They don't care that you've lost your right to go to work or to use public lands. By the way, you know what public parks are? They're not government parks. They're your parks. When the government owns something, that's our collective ownership of the citizens of this country. So them telling you can't go there, you can't go shopping, you can't go to work, you can't go to church. You could be arrested if you're in the park, if you try to have a wedding at your house. All of that crap, that's a violation of your rights that are guaranteed. But they have no problem with that. Oh, we have to give those up for the greater good. But as soon as it could affect them, hey, Democrats, we know you're hoping to win here in 2020, but, Dr. Fauci and the rest say we can't be sure until there's not one new case. We shouldn't be assembling in public, so we're going to have to delay those elections. All of a sudden, their heads explode. Whoa, that's tyranny! You can't do that! Every single time. As soon as it affects them, then all of a sudden, oh, well, it's different. Like, for example, we saw Stephanopoulos and Cuomo both break quarantine. Cuomo, who was diagnosed with COVID, supposedly. His brother, the one on CNN. Fredo. Yet he violated quarantine. There's a guy who was diagnosed with COVID, but he's out riding his bike around. We saw the mayor of some town, I saw about this, $1,000 fine if you get caught going to a business or opening a business that's not essential. Yet they caught her on video at a nail salon place, one of the very places she closed down. It's okay for her. See, that's always been the case. Those people with power, they'll exploit this to get more power, but as soon as it comes to them making some sort of sacrifice, no way. Has Congress stopped taking paychecks? No, they gave themselves a provision to get even more money. So as soon as all of a sudden the Democrats, they care about you. They're fighting against the PPE loans. They waited how many days and drug it out? They drug out the initial bailout because they wanted all kinds of other crap, Green New Deal crap. They'll tell us, oh, you got to make sacrifices. You got to suck it up. You got to do this. You got to do that. But they're not making those sacrifices. Just look at Nancy Pelosi in her freezer with all of her fancy ice creams. She has more money in her refrigerators than I do in my entire house. All these celebrities singing Imagine while they're sitting in hot tubs telling you, hey, quarantine's not that bad. Sure. As soon as it affects them, though, oh, what's that? Our concern is getting Trump out of power, and now that this could be jeopardized because of the very same fear-mongering we've used to take away people's right to assembly, their right to free speech, their right to religion. As soon as that occurs, the same fear-mongering, as soon as it's applied to them, oh, okay, I guess if we can't go to church, if it's that serious that we can't go to work or church, then I guess we can't go vote either. Oh, no, you can't say that. Oh my God, that's tyranny. The only right they're concerned with is their right to get power. That's it. And again, I say that as someone who agrees that the elections shouldn't be shut down. But I'm consistent. I'm saying none of this stuff should be shut down. Explain to me exactly how. If we're to believe these people that say, oh, we have to practice social distancing and we have to do this and that and people can't go to work, only essential businesses. If church isn't essential, why is voting more essential? As far as I'm concerned, they're both critically essential. But if you're able to shut down one, then why not the other? Why is it all of a sudden? Could it just be because the globalists, it benefits them in one hand and not the other? So as always, the rights is for their fear-mongering, just like the open borders crap. Victor David Hansen says it all the time. These globalist leftists prescribe for us the utopias that they'll never have the misfortune of living in. So for us, it's, you got to no more fossil fuels, open borders, all this crap, while they live in gated communities and they can afford to fly in private jets and all this crap. This is just another extension of that. That's what this is. When you fearmonger and you say no one could be in public, oh my God, no, it could be months, it could be years. Of course, we don't have the specific numbers, but we have to be safe. We have to be safe, so don't allow people up. Well, I guess that means millions of people shouldn't be voting, right? Oh, no, that's different. The voting we could do. And hell, they might as well come out and say it. Democrats are allowed to vote and Republicans aren't. Let's just say it. Just come out. Why beat around the bush? We know what's going on. Now do you understand why I get mad at what Trump was doing? Because he's falling right into their trap. This is the same group of people that told you the FBI could do nothing wrong. All instances of Russia collusion need to be investigated. Russian interference needs to be investigated. Well, now we know that evidence has came out, as I've been saying for over a year. You've heard it here first. The biggest case of Russian interference into our system were the claims in the Steele dossier that were not only completely made up, that we know at this point, not only known to be Russian claims sourced from Kremlin agents, but were such a lie that even the FBI used them to spy on Trump. That's the biggest amount of Russian interference, right? Without a doubt. We know that's the biggest amount. Yet Mueller couldn't get around to investigating that. Now when we find out, hey, all you news agencies that parroted the Steele dossier, all you news agencies that pushed for the Mueller investigation, guess what? You all pushed Russian propaganda designed to take down the U.S. That's what you did. All of a sudden now Russian interference isn't a big story. Huh. Oh, well. See, it's only a big story if it could have hurt them. It's the same here. Fearmonger, you're not essential. Stay at home. If you want to protest these Democratic governors, you're a terrible person. You're spreading the disease. You're horrible. You shouldn't be allowed to go practice your religion. You shouldn't be allowed to peacefully assemble. You shouldn't be allowed to use public property. But as soon as it comes to getting out to the polls and voting for Democrat, oh, hell yeah, the virus is no big deal. Get out there in droves. Stand in line, smile song, to vote out Donald Trump, to vote in Democrats to the Senate. Oh, that's perfectly fine. The disease won't. I'm sure they'll come up with some science. Dr. Fauci says that on election day, the virus can't spread on election day. If you're voting Democrat, if you're voting Republican, you need to stay at home or you're spreading the virus. Does anyone still believe this crap? So, yeah, when you hear Biden and them come out and say, oh, watch out. I've been saying it all along. You want to end the lockdown? Just have Trump say, okay, we either lift the lockdown today or we carry it out past December and we won't have elections until 2022. Every Democrat that's telling you right now, you care more about your 401k than people's lives, all of a sudden they wouldn't give a shit about people's lives. They'd say, yeah, we have to have elections. Vote out Donald Trump. Whatever it takes. If millions die, who cares? We got to get Trump out. One of the MSNBC hosts said this the other day. The silver lining to all these people dying from COVID could be that it finally gets Trump out of office. Think about how disgusting you have to be to say that. So yeah, when you hear Joe Biden and them talk about, they could suspend elections. I don't want elections suspended. I don't. But isn't it funny that the only time they care about their fear-mongering and taking away people's rights is when it could affect their right to get elected? That's it. They only care about power. And part of that's screwing you, the normal American, over. They don't care if you go bankrupt and lose your house. They don't care at all. So, all right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. I'm at work now, so I've got to go do some stuff. But, yeah, I'll be trying to put more videos out as the week goes on. We'll see with my work schedule. You never know. But, as always, I appreciate you all for listening. And stay safe out there. As always, have a good one.